Hey everybody, I'm Kelly Joe. Thanks for inviting me over to your house, play guitar with you and all that. I'm a lap style player, primarily. That's what I'm doing today for you. And to start you off, I'm playing in an open tuning, an open D tuning. And here's how I've got these notes set up. It's a D on the bottom, and an A, and another D, and then an F sharp, and an A, and a D up on the very top. And I'll play these for you, and you can tune them to match my guitar. So here's the bottom D. Actually, I'm going to start over. I'll explain this in a second. That's the trick. There's the D. Okay, and then A. And then the other D. And an F sharp. And an A. And a D again on the very top here. And that gives me the open D chord. If you haven't played in open tunings, but you've read about them, a lot of times this is referred to as the E tuning. There's a lot of players tune it up a little bit higher, but I've got it dropped down a whole step using heavier strings, and it keeps my guitar from falling into pieces in my lap. Now, this other piece here, the reason I had to take this off was because I actually wasn't in D. I was playing that last piece in F. And this is a capo. You know, a lot of guitar players use these. It just cuts the top portion of the fingerboard off, makes the guitar higher pitched. I had to have one of these made for me for this particular guitar. I don't know if you can see it, but I have this set up like a dobro in that the strings are about 1/4 of an inch off the fingerboard, and I'm using a solid bar. It's referred to as a Stevens bar sometimes, or a Hawaiian bar. This particular one is made by Shub, same shape though as a Stevens. And because of the solid steel bar and the weight that it has, if I don't get the strings up off the fingerboard, then they crunch into the fingerboard and against the frets, and I get a lot of extra noise that I don't want. And then there's a few techniques that I can't pull out of the guitar either, unless you get those strings up in the air. Now, because I did that, I had to come up with a capo system. There's a handful of them made commercially for dobro players, and you can check them out. I've used them all, and they all work fine. Subtle differences sometimes make a big difference, and that's case in point here. So I had a guy build this for me, a piece of ebony wood that fits under the strings and on top of the fingerboard, and then a piece of drill rod. It's Chris 1/4-inch drill rod, goes on top. There's a groove filed in here. Then I slide those under the strings. And if the guitar's tuned in D, then going up 3 frets, that puts me in the key of F, and that's where I was playing last. So this goes under the strings, gives the strings something solid to set on. That way, it seems like I can get the fingerboard and the whole guitar to resonate when I'm playing. And then just a little $2 strap capo goes over the top to keep the strings from moving around too much. And away I go. Okay, so chances are, if you're just starting out doing this, you're going to try it on the guitar that you have, which isn't set up for lap style, and it should work fine. There'll be a few things I may get into that you won't be able to get until you raise the strings up, but at least you'll understand how it works. Okay, so I'm in F here, same tuning and everything. And if you've experimented with slide playing at all, chances are you've gone through that period where everything you do doesn't sound too good. Most of the trick initially in playing slide guitar is in muting strings that you're not using the slide on. That's true with lap style as it is with bottleneck style. In the case of lap style, there's two muting points. One of them is behind the slide bar. See, I hold the slide with the middle finger and my thumb, and the index finger is just a guide. So that's one of the nice things about this shape. It's very easy to hold. It doesn't slip out of your hand, you know, in opportune times and things. So these three fingers holding the bar leaves these two completely free, and I use those to mute behind the bar. So if I'm playing a melody note up on top here, as my little finger's too short, it won't get up there, but see that my ring finger is maintaining contact with the string. It acts like a mirror image of the slide bar. So if I'm up on the 4th fret with the slide bar, well, my ring finger is staying on the string, and that's going to keep the note from keep the string from picking up harmonic, you know, resonating things from behind the slide. So the hand just moves, you know, as if it's all frozen together. And you got to have a finger back there to keep the note as clean as possible. I'll play a little melodic fragment to show you the difference between the two things. This is without a mute behind the bar. Now, if I do something like that with the mute, you won't hear that wisp thing that happens as the slide moves across the string. It's too much bulk here, and it makes everything, you know, fall to pieces if you're not careful with it. Okay, so it's a little bit cleaner that way, I think. It makes it sound cleaner. So that's one mute point. Okay, behind the slide bar. You also, if I'm playing fuller chords across all 6 strings, then I'm just laying the fingers down across. And there's always something behind the slide grabbing. The other mute point is with your right hand, and this is the trickier one. You'll find that true with bottleneck as well as lap style. It's tricky because you end up having to mute strings that you're not playing. When you're muting behind the bar, there's nothing that you have to do other than lay the finger across. So that bit is easy, but the right hand, you're having to sort of retrace your steps constantly so that either the string you just finished playing on is muted by your finger, or a string around the string the slide is on, which could set up, you know, a resonance just from the fact that it's sitting next to the string you're using. So if I play a melody like I just did to show you that bit. Now, when I went to the 2nd string for the melody note, you see I dropped my middle finger down on the 1st string. Now, that's the string I just left with the slide bar. If I didn't cut that out with this middle finger, you would hear it ringing in. It's not necessarily going to sound bad, but sometimes you don't want that. You just want a single note. You see that note is still ringing there? But if you just drop your middle finger down on it, then you can cut it out and just hear the notes that you're using the slide bar for. Okay. You mute with whatever finger is handy. I say I don't really have a system, you know, this finger for that string, this finger for that string. It really depends on what you're doing, both with the slide bar and with your right hand. But you can practice that kind of thing if you just play slow melodies of any sort. It doesn't even have to be a melody. You could just you know, play anything. But to practice the muting, try playing melodies that go across more than one string, maybe 2, 3, or 4 strings, because there's not so much muting that goes on when you're playing, you know, that linear. But when you're crossing strings, has to be some muting going on. Now, let me think of a specific example to show you that one time. I'll take, I'll just do a little melodic fragment there, a scale fragment. Just that much, starting with the open fifth string, okay? It's, if you can't quite tell what it is, open fifth string, fourth fret of the fifth string, open fourth string, second fret of the fourth string, open third string, first fret of the third string, and then the open second string. It's just a tiny piece of a major scale out of this tuning, which I'll show you in a while as well. Now, when I play the first two notes, because they're on the same string, I don't have to worry about muting so much. But the next note is going to be the open fourth string. Now watch what I do with my thumb here. See, I brought my thumb back down to the fifth string so it wouldn't ring out. That way you hear both notes. That way you just get one. You can also see I've got my middle finger planted on the third string. That's just, it's right next to the note I'm playing, so I had to mute it out to keep it from coming in, even though I didn't pick it, but the vibration of the guitar is going to make it sound. And I'll just move my thumb across. Like that. So the thumb is following. Whenever I finish a string, I lay it down. That's kind of an overview anyway of the muting. Changes a lot depending, again, like I said, on what you're playing. Now let me play a little bit more melody-wise before I do another song. I think I'll play a song all the way through for you, so you can just watch, either hand and see how that's working. But let me just noodle around for a minute here with some melodies and see if I can demonstrate by example more of that thing. Okay, I hope that gives you a good example of what I'm talking about. Okay, now let me play another song here, and that will help us get into some more, more ideas to talk about with this lap approach to guitar. When the trumpet of the Lord shall sound, and time shall be no more. When the morning breaks eternal, bright and fair, and all the saints gather to their home beyond the sky. Yet and the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. On that bright and cloudless morning, when the dead in Christ shall rise. In the morning glory of his resurrection share, all in all the chosen ones will gather to their home on the sky. And the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. Yeah, when the roll is called up yonder. When the roll is called up yonder, boy. When the roll is called up yonder. When the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. Let us labor for the Master from dawn till setting sun, and talk of all His wondrous love and care. And when all world of life is over and our work on earth is done, yeah, and the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. Yeah, when the roll is called up yonder, when the roll is called up yonder, boy. When the roll is called up yonder, when the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. Oh, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there. Oh, I'll be there. That was a tune called When the Roll is Called Up Yonder that I like to do. And it shows you a few things. Number one, it shows you my take on something that a lot of us guitar players do, which is this alternate thumb picking, which I picked up, I suppose, from a lot of the same sources that you have as well. Chet Atkins and Merle Travis and Doc Watson and Norman Blake, a lot of those kinds of people. It's, the right hand part of what I'm doing there is absolutely the same that you would do playing in the conventional way. I'm picking the strings, completely the same as you would any other way. The difference is that the melody notes and the chords are all coming from the slide bar, and it's a big difference because with a slide bar, see, I've only got one contact surface with the strings. Now, when you're playing it conventionally, you've got your four fingers to pick out melody notes and/or chords. In my case, I've just got the one bar, and you could even think of it as just having one finger to use. So I end up having to bounce parts around to get them all to show up. And a lot of times it's not necessarily that they actually are showing up as much as I've led you to believe they have. And obviously at this point I need to show you what the heck I'm talking about. If I'm going to play the melody to When the Roll is Called Up Yonder, like... with just single notes, you've got that. Now if I want to accompany that with the bass picking, okay, you can see what's going on there. I'm tipping the bar up from the back. The reason for that is I don't want any part of the back of the bar to contact the bass strings, because that's where I'm picking my thumb rhythm out, So I have to get the bar up and use the leading edge of the bar for my melody notes. Just moving it from string to string like you would an individual finger. Now the part about leading you to believe that parts are there when they're really not there has to do with how you take one contact surface or contact point here and use it to provide the melody and the bass and the chords. That's where the implications come in. If I go into the song like okay, you see some jostling going around with the bar. I'm using it just for melody here, of course, and then jump it over to pick up an extra bass note, and then move it over to pick up this chord out. Let me see if I can do that again. You know what I need to tell you or show you is there's a fair bit of improvising going on with what I do, especially regarding the melody. And when I'm playing something like that, it's not that I have worked it out ahead of time. I don't really know where the melody's going to go exactly. I have a rough idea because I know how the melody of the song goes, but I like the way music feels as a performer when I don't know any more what's going to happen next than you do, you know, as a listener. Because of that approach, I have to know where things are situated on the fingerboard, especially when it comes to melody. And when I was just playing that last piece, you know, I realized how much a part that plays when I'm moving the bar around. So I want to show you how that works for me. Now, in general, this is one of many songs that are based on the, you know, the 1-4-5 chords, or, you know, the typical 3-chord song, and the layout of the guitar gives it to me this way. I've got the 1 chord open, and then the 4 chord up at the 5th fret, you know, and then the 4 chord there, and the 5 chord up at the 7th fret. I'm counting all my frets from the capo, by the way. What I have spent time figuring out is where in relation to those chords are the scale notes sitting, or the melody notes. This song is an example of what I would consider to be a major, you know, the song has a major tonality as opposed to some of the blues things I do that is based more on a minor tonality. Because this is keyed, you know, with the major key notes, that's the scale that I'm working around. And I'm going to take you through the major scale, sitting in this open position here, and show you. Start with the open string, of course, and it's the 2nd fret and the 4th fret, and then the 5th fret. And that's all on the 6th string. And then you go to the open 5th string, 2nd fret, 4th fret. Now instead of going up to the 5th fret there, you've got your open string to use. So okay, and then to continue on from there, it's well, because these are octaves, whatever you did on this string, you'll do on this one. So get that open 2nd fret, 4th fret. Now, instead of going up here, that's a in the D, in the key of D. Open this would be a G note, but that's sitting back over here because of the tuning. I've got this tuned, you know, closer to this string than this one was, so that changes there. I'm going to start this over, show you on the 6th string it's open, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, and then you go to the 5th string, open, 2nd fret, 4th fret, and then you got your open 4th string, okay? Now from there, 4th string open, 2nd fret. And you can go to the 4th fret here for this F sharp, but you can also pick that up open. Okay? So, and then the 1st fret of that 3rd string. Then go to the open 2nd string, 2nd fret, 4th fret, and then open 1st string. So. Keep going, you know, the way up if you want until you run out of room. Now, knowing where those melody notes are, I can keep this rhythm going here. Once you're familiar with where those notes are sitting and comfortable with the idea of trying to pick out melody notes or make them up on the spot, you can pretty much do that for as long as is needed, because it's just the only thing that's going to hold you back is if you get stuck trying to come up with a melody line in your head. That's really just a matter of practicing, doing things like taking a children's song, anything, whatever, She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain or something like that. I mean, any song you can think of, and just practice playing the melody to it. If you do that enough times, you build up it's sort of it's like a physical memory in your hands, certainly. When you hear combinations of notes, then regarding melody, you know where they are. You can visualize in your head where those notes are on the fingerboard. Just from practice, you get to, so you can do that. Now that gives the notes for the open section. Back to when the roll's called up yonder. I also at the 5th fret here, I'm using this 4 chord, okay. And when you're using a full bar on a chord, you obviously aren't going to have as many freedoms in mobility to bring out a melody in relation to that chord. There's a couple of things you can do for that, a couple of things that I do. And one of them is using combinations of open strings up on top of the bar. I'm going to work my way into that, show you. Now I'm just using the bar on these 4 strings here, 6, 5, 4, and 3. 1st and 2nd strings are left open. And not only does that open up the sound of the chord, but it also gives me, if I pick them in any particular, if I pick them in a specific order to bring out a melody note, then it doesn't so much sound like they're just open strings. They don't really function that way. They sort of tie in with the melody. Becomes a melody line if you play them individually like that, and no bar motion whatsoever there, but I've got these 3 melodies happening here. You can do that also with this 2 chord here. I've used that. Most of the chords that you can grab on this, in this tuning. Opens up the sound a little bit. Okay, right, that section right there is functioning as my 5 chord. Now I can use the bar at the 7th fret for the 5 chord, but if I want to push some more melody notes into it, again, every time I have the bar locked down on all 5 strings, I'm going to have a pretty hard go at bringing out as many melody notes as are available. So there are times where I'm just going to use the A note here. Again, whether I use notes or frets, I'm referring to having the capo off. So keep that in mind. So if I'm in D and the 5 chord is A, and the 7th fret bar gives me the A, but I've also got an A on this 5th string open. And you will find that just by using the bass note, that's going to set the foundation for this sound that implies the 5 chord being present. And then by choosing melody notes carefully enough, I can enhance that sensation. So even though I'm not holding down a 5 chord, I can still make the music feel like the 5 chord is there, make it feel like it has to move somewhere, which is going to be back to that 1. And I'll work my way into that and show you. So I'm not holding any chords down, and really I've still got the open, I'm working with the open chord, which is a D, but the reason it comes out sounding like an A is because of the melody notes that I'm choosing. Those are, they're all part of the A chord. Okay. So I'm going to leave that now, that the major tonality, okay, and go to the minor thing. I'm also going to change the capo up a little bit, as for the sake of the song. This next thing is called Black Crow Keeps Flying. It's a song that I've been playing for a few years, 4 or 5 years anyway. And it has a different scale set up than the major does. And like I said, it's based on the minor sound. Now, just to give you a reference point, I'm going to play the major again. And that's the one we were using prior to this. And now the minor one is gives you more the common, blues feel. It's a bit more. There's a bit more to it than that, but certainly in a general sense, that's the flavor. Okay, you've all heard that kind of stuff before. And the scale isn't the full minor necessarily that we'll be using, or that I use when I play a song like this. It has more in common with what you usually learn as being a pentatonic scale. So let me take you through, I'll show you that much of it for starters. Open 6th string, 3rd fret, 5th fret, and then the open 5th string, 3rd fret, the open 4th string, 3rd fret again. That. Now you have to jump the bar over to the 1st fret of the 3rd string, because if you can't use that string open, because that's where the major sound of the chord is, and if we're trying to play minor, we have to avoid that. So that's probably the hardest point during the scale, is getting from here to here in one jump. Okay, from that first fret of the third string, then go up to the open second string, third fret, and then you have your open first string, and you can throw those into the third, fifth, and seventh frets, okay? And that's just the octave there. Those kind of licks is what you get from using a minor sort of scale. Okay, now I'm going to play a song here for you that's built on that idea. Again, harmonically, it's based on the 1, 4, 5 chords again, so that structure will be the same, but the melodies are all going to have that other flavor. Okay. See that black crow flying through the sky. Blow the wind, show us howling, won't you tell me why? And see that black crow flying through the sky. Oh, the little wind, show us howling, won't you tell me why? Yeah, I don't see nothing, no, but the black crow. It ain't been no train, I've not left too soon. Would I be standing outside laughing at the moon? It ain't been no train, got it left too soon. Standing outside laughing at the moon, yeah. Standing outside laughing at the moon. Yeah, I don't see nothing, no, how about the black hole? Well, I know somebody put a thing on me. Got my eyes wide open, but Lord, don't see nothing. Yeah, I know somebody put a thing on me. Got my eyes wide open, Lord, I don't see nothing. Don't see nothing, Lord. Hey, I don't see nothing, Lord, but the black crow fly. Hey, but the black crow. Okay, that's Black Crow Keeps Flying. And I'll show you a little bit about what I was doing there. Might have, I think I did a few things in that I didn't do in the other song, so I'll try to remember to show you those. Okay. Based on that minor thing again, and the same scale. Okay, and I start the song out with a rhythm in my thumb again. Like that. It's kind of a alternate thumb picking pattern of sorts. It's this same feel. The difference being that I throw a kick in at the 3rd fret of both the 6th and 5th strings and pick it with my thumb instead of the open strings, and then slide it up a little bit. That's what the rhythm is based on. Now, I'm throwing a tiny melodic fragment in over the top of that to give it a little more kick, fill up the space a little bit. And that's the melodic fragment. It's a 3rd fret of the 2nd string and the open 2nd string, 3rd fret of the 4th string, and then open, and 3rd fret of the 5th string, and then I go back to the open 4th string. Okay, that sets up the thumb rhythm, and you do them simultaneously with using the melodic fragment as a lead-in for it. That would be the rhythmic setup for the whole song, really. You can see me doing one thing here with the melody, again, to give it a bit more bite, you know, have it give you a little more push. And I'm picking a melody note here and just edging the slide up a little bit before I pick the open string. And you're not going to the next fret, so you're not picking up the next note up. You know, it's just barely beyond the fret. And, you know, by itself, it sounds like it sounds like those first violin lessons we all had, you know, by itself. But it's the sound of the tension is resolved when you go to the open string. The push, it just gives it some motion. It makes it move forward, and it's less static. You know, it's like bending the strings on a conventional guitar. You bend them up a little bit, and makes it feel like something's going to happen. You know, so it gives it that forward motion. Makes music, you know, have that mysterious quality about it. Keeping the thumb rhythm going on the bass strings, I'm grabbing an extra melody note up on top on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Like that. And that little bit I change, I think, pretty much every time. Again, this is the basic rhythm. Still giving it that push there. Okay, like that. Another thing you might notice along the way, I wonder why I'm doing it, when you keep a bass rhythm going like that, you don't necessarily have to continue it. You know, every beat, you don't have to have a thumb in there. In fact, it can be more effective sometimes when you drop it out. And even the dropouts don't have to be regimented. You know, you can put them in anywhere. And it's another way of setting up tensions. The way to let the song, or let music, I think, go on its own legs down the road, you know, is the tensions that resolve, that become other tensions that resolve, that become other tensions, and so on. And sometimes tensions are set up, like the first example in this song, the tensions were set up by, one example of it was pushing the note up with the slide bar a little bit, which definitely sounds unresolved, you know, it's not a place you would stop. So some of the tensions are through the music you're playing, some of the tensions are through the music you're not playing. Now, show you what I mean. Okay, now that section there, I played the thumb all the way through, and it's not that that sounds bad or that you shouldn't do that, because that can be effective and strong in itself. But let me show you what happens when I drop the thumb out. See, what ought to happen, or what you'll probably hear, is it's almost like watching somebody trip, you know, a little bit, or stumble, or watching a drunk. You're wondering whether he's going to make it to the end of the sidewalk. There's a lot of tension there. You can affect that musically, which it's a positive influence. Sidewalk there. You see what you set it up, not giving away the goodies, you know, you just set it up straight, and then somewhere during that time, let it jumble up, you know, let it jiggle, let it slip, let it lose its footing for a second. That's you know, rhythmically it's going to continue, because you don't have to be playing the notes for the rhythm to be there. The rhythm will be there, but by not playing some of the notes, you know, you've sort of increased the excitement of what's happening, irregardless of whether it's a slow song or a fast song. And then, all of a sudden, you feel it come right back down, you know, and then everything is set again. And you realize that you've just been taken for this ride as a listener, or you realize that you went for a ride as a performer. It's really a fun way to experience music, really. So let me do a little more of this here. Leading up to that point, maybe I would use that as an intro to the song, just like getting everybody settled into their seat now. And then when I fall into that more basic, clearer cut rhythmic foundation, then that would be the perfect place to come in and start singing the song, because you've set it up by then, right? See that black hole fly through the sky. It sure tell me why. Yeah, I know somebody sure won't put a thing on me. You see it going through like that, you can continue to jumble things around, keep the rhythm going straight forward. And I realize, of course, that some of you are just getting started or haven't even started playing lap style. Maybe you're just getting started with the guitar and you're probably wondering what the heck it is I'm talking about and why they're paying me to do this. Also realizing that I just got involved in a heavy tangent, but the point is that there's a lot of things you can do with the music. You know, learn the pieces along the way. Try to have fun with them, I think, you know. I want to show you how I use those elements to take a very common, well-known song and turn it into, you know, a vehicle to express my own, you know, use it to express my own set of emotions in the context of a traditional song. It's not, you know, it's not reinventing it by any means. It's just singing a song and trying to project, you know, through it, doing as much as you can to get nearer the intent of the song, perhaps, you know, when it was composed. It's trying to figure out how to mean it, you know, how to mean what you're singing about instead of just mouthing the words and things. Improvising through that is a very good way to get to those emotions, because you're dealing with everything in a very immediate sense. You know, it's here and now. And there's a song that I play a lot. It's called Goodnight, Irene. Most of you, I'm sure, know that song or have heard it too many times, probably. Aren't you glad I'm about to do it again? I'm going to play it as straight as I can remember it. Okay. First, just in case you haven't heard it, or at least to show you what I'm basing my take off of. And then I'll demonstrate how I spin it around. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I will see you in my dreams. See, that's pretty much the straightforward version, or at least as straightforward as I can get it to come out. Now, most of the time when I start out a song, I work into it. I tend not to play it right out of the chute. You know, I like to give it time to set itself up, much like when I was working into Black Crow Keeps Flying. You know, this is a different song, different sound, different emotion, but yet you can, you know, it's just, I don't know, preparing the canvas maybe, you know, for the painting, something. And that's a good way to establish what's going to happen after that. So I'm going to do Goodnight, Irene for you now, and then I think after that's done, I can talk about some of the things I got into with it too. So here we go. Sometimes I live in the country, sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I have a great notion, jump in the river, drown. Quit your rambling, quit your gambling, or staying out late at night. Stay at home with your wife and your family. Boy, sit by the fireside bright. Irene, good night. Oh, Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I will see you. Did I ask your mother for you? She said, Lord, you were too young. Oh, I wish I would never seen your face. I wish I was never born. Irene, good night. Oh, yeah, Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I will see you. Yeah, I will see you in my dreams. Yeah, I love Irene, God knows I do. I'm gonna love her till the sea runs dry. I can't have Irene with me tonight. Take morphine and die. Yeah, I'll take morphine and die. Oh, Irene, good night. Yeah, Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I will see you. I will see you. Yeah, I will see you in my dream. Yeah, I will see you in my dream. All right, there you have it. Yet another version. Anyway, a few things going on there. Again, I don't stick with the chord changes too much. Two ways I run away from those things. Number one, obviously, by not playing them at all. And The other way is by using harmonic tools to pull me away from the chords. Like the last little bit there, where I was singing, let's see, gotta find the key again. And I will see you in my dreams, and I will see you in my dreams. Okay, now if I was playing the chords in the traditional manner, it would be, I will see you in my dreams, I will see you in my dreams, okay? Which again is pretty and strong in its own way, but it's nice to, I like music that doesn't lock itself down so tight, and in this case what I'm doing is implying this harmonic motion just by using a melody note that would be one of the key notes in the moving chords, you know. I will see you in my dreams. The chords that are being applied, just for curiosity's sake, this is a dominant one chord, by the way. Now, this note is the same as the third, you know, the major third note that makes up the 4 chord. This note implies this, and then that note implies that I've taken the major 4 chord and turned it into a minor, which is very hard to play in tune. So I won't even try. That's the motion, okay? So it's a dominant 1 chord to a 4 chord to a minor 4 and back to the 1 again. So and sometimes I will keep that line going down yet another couple of notes, because there's another 2 chords that I can imply in this situation. If I go the dominant 1 and imply the 4 chord, and then the minor 4, and then the 1 again. Now, that note sounds bizarre by itself, I know, but taken in context, it's a dominant 2 chord, which pushes up to the 5 and then back to the 1. So like sometimes I'll play that section of the song and go like this. I will see you in my dream. Yeah, I will see you in my dreams. I will see you in my dreams. Yeah, I will see you in my. Let's see, that would be okay, just by the 1 note. So I do that a lot in the songs that I play. That might be a easy example to see it working. There's a lot of choices that you have harmonically when you're trying to put a song like that together. And it seems that the less chords the song starts out with, the more options you've got. Especially if the melody is straightforward. See, there's a lot of the notes in a melody or a major scale can be used over a handful of chords anyway, if not most of the chords in the key at some given point. You know, example is like this note can function over a 1 chord. This, again, with thinking of it without the capo on, it's just an A. Of course, it's functioning in this chord, obviously, but you can go up to here and have it function within the chord, and that chord works with it as well. And as a melody note, in other words, I could choose any of those chords, and there's more yet, you know. I could choose any of those chords and use that as a melody note, both played and or sung, and it would work. And so singing a melody like Goodnight, Irene, I end up with a lot of chordal choices, and when I played it just now, you probably heard chords going on that may have been surprising or different than you've heard anyway. A lot of that is just letting the melody do the work and letting the chords sort of do their own work in support of the melody, you know. Let me see if I can show you a bit of that again. Irene, oh, good night. Oh, Irene, good night. Okay, now, one of the things I did there was I used a piece of a 2-chord here. It's a minor. I didn't even play a third in it. I mean, that's the fun thing and the odd thing about this approach, really, is that because I've just got the slide bar to work with, I've got to make some choices along the way harmonically, and the choice sometimes will mean deciding what to leave out. Now, in this case, I'm going to a 2-chord. Let me get back to that spot so I can describe it clearer. I'll try to anyway. Yeah, okay, it's like good night, Irene, good night, Irene, I will see you. I'm going to work it back in again. Irene, good night, right here. Irene. Okay, so I'm using, this is just root 5 root, and I'm using the rest of this open D chord, but what I'm filling in there is it's a E minor, you know, and I'm using that to set up the tension to take us over into the A chord, take me over to A chord. It's not us. You're us, me. So like this. Irene, Lord, good night. Good night, Irene. Okay, another chord that I'm using here. Instead of staying on the 1, I'm going using a third in the bass. Now this is a pretty common practice. Using a major third over a major chord, right? But that also can function as the root note for the major 3rd chord, which is a good pulling chord to get you into the 6 minor. See, like I'm getting myself way out on the limb here. But let me show you, and then I'll try to talk you through it. I'll just start with that second half of the chorus. Good night, Irene, good night, Irene, I will see you. Okay, so that's still just the 1 chord, but then when I throw the rest of it, there's that sets up a motion that's going to be answered 2 ways, either going right to the 4 or doing this half minor chord, which in this case B minor, again just playing the 3 notes. It's the 9th fret, the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings, and using the top 3 strings open, which are also part of the chord. So good night, Irene, good night, Irene, I will see you in my dreams. Yet I will see you in my dreams. Okay. So there's one thing that you might check out if you get a chance, maybe get a good basic book on music theory, because it's not that you have to understand it all, and it's not that I'm not at all suggesting that you approach music theoretically, but there's always going to be information in there that you might find very useful for you, and you might find that it opens up your creativity and then allows you to play more music than you could have without it, you know. So, and this is one of the things that I found, and one of the first things I remember learning when I got exposed to music theory, which I use constantly to free me up, and it's within a given key, what chords exist within that key, at least using the major scale. And it's like, there's 7 notes in the scale, in the major scale, and there's a chord that's built on each note within the scale. Some of them are minor and some of them are major. And probably the most basic way to look at it is the chord built on the 1 note is major, and then 2 and 3 are minor, and then 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is minor, and 7, depending on whether you add enough notes to it, it's either what they call a half diminished chord or a diminished chord. And I won't go into that now necessarily, but that's where those chords are coming from. Like when I go to this 3 chord, the reason I turn it into a major 3 is so I can have that pull into a chord I know that's in the key that's also going to fit the melody note I'm singing. And I apologize if that seems confusing, because I am confused myself. No, I'm better now. Pulls me into B minor, and that's where I wanted to end up. And instead of just hitting it cold, again, by studying at least enough theory to understand how those chords were going to work, I know then by thinking it through as I'm playing that if I turn that chord into a dominant chord instead of a minor chord, it's really going to throw the sound of the music up into this 6 minor. This is a B minor in the key of D. And then once I'm there, I just walk my way down to 5 and then 4. Yeah, it's sort of like that. I hope that made some kind of sense anyway. Harmonics, you know what guitar harmonics are? You know, these things which come out naturally at the 5th, 7th, and 12th frets. With a slide bar, you can actually play those behind the bar itself. I put the bar down on the 5th fret. Well, actually, let me do it up here at the 7th. It's easier to come out at first. That's just the chord notes with the bar, but you can come back and pick up some of those things, and once you get them, you can move them. You get the sliding motion that way. Makes it sound like bells. I've got a recorded version of When the Roll is Called Up Yonder. If you have that record, or if you get a hold of it and hear that bit at the beginning and the end, that's what I'm doing there. It's just the behind the bar harmonics, and they also come out a little better when the capo's off open strings. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm sure I've taken up a lot of your time. I appreciate it. It's been fun. I hope you've had a good time, and good luck with it. And you just keep playing. That's all I did. That's all I do. Trust me on that. And I'm going to just play a song for you. Say goodbye. So thanks very much. I could hear them singing, like the heart gonna fall out, raising hands and rolling. Yeah, they be singing, bringing in the sheaves, and the soldiers marching by. Singing, bringing in the sheaves, soldiers marching by. Well, I wanna go there, I wanna go there, yeah. I wanna go there when I die. Eyes open wide like a little boy in wonder, yet I could hear the shout, I could hear the rumble. I'm gonna pass the plate, raise their spirits high. Pass the plate and raise their spirits high. Yeah, well, I wanna go there, and I wanna go there. Yeah, I wanna go there when I die. Don't you follow me, no, 'cause I'll be falling by the way. Every step I take leave me too behind. Oh, my hard-earned suffering be my only way to fly. Hey, my hard-earned suffering be my only way to fly. Yeah, I wanna go there. I wanna go there. Oh, I wanna go there when I die. Yeah, I wanna go there. Yeah, I